Okay. Now, why can't I be on either or? This is going to be the issue. Join a meeting. 2 minutes. What's wrong? Just go away. There'll be some in his bag, I think. It can't be that far. Oh, goodness me, man. Right, let's try this way. See if it'll let me in this way or whether it's going to be echoey. Meeting ID is 726. Right. See if this will work. But I'm very echoey. I don't have a list. Let's hope this works. I'm hoping this works. Can you see ours okay? Because I seem very echoey on my side. Yeah. Yeah, you can hear ours. Good. This one's staring at the ceiling. Turn around that one, right? What are you pip squeaking at, mister? Hey, where are you? I've got a gate crasher. I do apologise, ladies. Where are you, Thomas? Eh? We'll put this. Well, you could have shut the door. Is this just where's me?
Be quiet. Be quiet.
I know there should be a few more. Oh, are you coming to say hello? Are you coming to say hello? Say hi. Say
Hello.
hi.
Hi.
Say hello. You see those ladies again? Say hello. Just smiling, are you? Just smiling. Yeah.
I love you too. Go on, turn it down.
We need some gin, don't we? I think to drink. Not you, but Mum. It's been one of those school days, I tell you.
Didn't do anything.
That would be right, Emily, yes. One worked, one didn't, wouldn't they not? No.
And guess who worked? Me.
Oh, I can just see who's the. Oh, there you are. I was going to say I can just see Fog. Say hello. Say hello. You saying hello? Like, ooh, who are all these people? Yes. We don't get out much to see anybody, do we? No. Joy's been a lockdown baby, yeah? Yeah. See my trees in. How's everybody?
Fine, thank you. Are you?
Good. Well, a bit stressed off homeschooling, but you know.
Oof. Yeah, I don't envy you that one.
Week to half term, we're counting down, aren't we? We've only got 5 days of homework left to do, and then we can have a week off.
Hey.
Yes, we
It
have.
must have been a day for it, honestly, because my daughter had a horrendous day as well.
The 5-year-old just refused point blank to do anything, and I mean anything. He didn't do a single thing, did he? Nope. He drove her absolutely potty, hasn't he? I've told him he's going to school on Monday. We send him to school on Monday. They can deal with him.
Yeah.
Can't they? What are you after now? Are you going in there with your Emily? I know that's all when I cut me final. Did everybody manage to get in the design space? Because I know it's having a right hissy fit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just having one of those days, I think. Oh dear, bless you. Just sneeze all over, I don't mind. Is mine letting us into design space? It is. Oh no, my design space is frozen. Oh, come on. The joys of technology, yeah? The joys of technology, where we're at. There we go. Right there, we'll shut all these down up here. Oh, we didn't want to shut that one down. There we go. There we go. Let's see if we can work this technology out there. Yeah. Oh, there's somebody else to add. Somebody else. There's a few more. Probably sorting out bedtimes. Yeah. You fell asleep at tea time, didn't you? So now you're wide awake. Like, what's going on? What's going on? Has everybody got the wine?
Yes.
I think it's needed, isn't it? I think we all deserve it. Hey. I don't know how anybody's coping managing work mind with their homeschooling. No idea. I'm glad I haven't got that challenge, aren't we, Thomas? Yeah. Oh, there's a few more to add. Let's just add them all. Makes it easier. Oh man, come on. Oh, where we gone? Oh, there's a chat box there. I've never used Zoom before. We normally use Teams with the children for school, so I'm new to Zoom. So this should be fun and games. Won't it be, Thomas?
Oh.
Yes. Say hello. Say hi.
Hi, gorgeous.
Haven't quite worked out how to wave.
Oh.
Haven't we not? No. Want to see what's going on, don't you? Yes. Are you clapping? Are you clapping? Eh? Are you clapping? As long as everybody's managed to get into design space, that's the main thing for now, isn't it? I know mine restarted itself this morning, updated, then it just wouldn't do anything. Took ages to load something to the mat, even though it was only one thing. Wasn't it? When you're in a hurry, though, that's what happens, doesn't it? You're just taking it all in, aren't you? Hello. Are you shouting hi? You can shout hi. Are you shouting hi? No. We don't get out much, do we, to see anybody? No, we don't.
Betty's not normally that quiet though.
Oh no, definitely not. It's a good job the 3-year-old's in bed, I tell you. He would definitely be gay crashing with. We'd have Paw Patrol figures in here, wouldn't we? Yes. I don't know about you, but I'm just ready for lockdown to be over. Some normality would be nice, wouldn't it, Thomas? Yes. We thought we might have been able to have a first birthday party for you, didn't we? But I don't think that's I don't think that's looking very good now, is it? No. Oh, there's a few more. We'll let these in as well up here. I think there's about 30, I think. So we'll give a few more minutes for people to get in. Are we keeping you awake?
Oh, you're tired.
You've just woke up. You fell asleep in your high chair, didn't you? Yeah. The tea. He always falls asleep in the high chair. Must have magic powers, I think. Because every time I turn around, you're zonking it, aren't you? Yes. Where's your Emily? You're going in the living room with Emily. Ems? Thought you'd escape back upstairs there. I thought you'd escape back upstairs. Come and get him, please.
I'm on the wire.
It's a bit hard to manage one-handed with him. You got him?
How heavy is
You
it?
got him. Some little help has come in handy. He'll probably be back in a few minutes. You tinker. What are you? Hey, where's my reading tool? Because I'll need that before I have done this one already. It is a cute one. I don't know if you can see that or whether I keep losing. I'm on twice, so like, you know, I keep disappearing. So yeah, I don't know how to set myself. I think somebody said something about double clicking or something, and you kind of become center screen, but I don't know how that works. As I said, I'm new to this, and honestly, joys of technology. Yeah. There we go. Is everybody fairly new to Design Space and or you had your machines a while?
Yeah.
Not that long, yeah.
No. I think it was something everybody bought during lockdown. I think they kind of keep themselves occupied. Are you back? There's a few different ways, but what I've noticed is more and more people who are working with Design Space and Cricut are opting to buy the business edition of Silhouette Studio simply because it's just got much more capabilities than Design Space has ever got. So I have, and then with the normal edition of Silhouette Studio is free, but you can't then download and save as an SVG. You have to upgrade to the business edition to be able to save as an SVG, which you can then upload to Design Space. Right, oh, there's a few more there. There's a few more there. I think I'll just have to keep an eye as people kind of tootle along. Right, Missy, this one. Just shut the kitchen door, though, please. That'll be down in a minute. Right, okay. Right, okay. Okay, right. Whoa. The trouble is, when I go to switch screen, I don't know if I'm going to lose my waiting room. I'll just give 2 more minutes and then I'll switch to the share screen for the Cricut and kind of a couple of tips of how to do it in Design Space. And then I'll switch to Inkscape to show you how to go through Inkscape. Hello, for those who are joining me. Oh, he's like, there's more faces. Yeah, we're not touching the computer. No, your hands need to stay down here. You have that. You play with that one. Right? You playing with that one? Yeah? We've got about 25 in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen. This should work. Hopefully it works anyway to Design Space. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on, I don't need to click on new actually, I've already got it. I'm just going to click off my photos here. Right. So with Design Space, oh, we've got a little spinning wheel. I'll have to give that a few minutes to sort itself out. There's a couple of options here. The easiest one would be to use your text. And I'm just going to type in Sarah here. I know we're doing a man's fishing one, but I'm just going to type in Sarah for easiness. Obviously, with Design Space, the spacing is, I don't like the spacing on the wording. So there's a couple of options here. You can either ungroup along here. I don't know why I'm echoey. I do apologise if I'm echoey. I can turn it off over here if needed. So I've ungrouped these and I can manually just kind of click on them one by one. I prefer to do it this way. And then just use my left and right arrow key to kind of move along until I'm happy with that, the position of them. Alternatively, you can just type in your name and then use the letter spacing at the top. I'll show you that way for grouping. It's more so for script text that you would need to do this for, but also if you look carefully with just typed text, your spacing can be out with a couple of letters as well. So it is worth just kind of paying a bit of attention to it. I don't tend to do a lot of text in Design Space because I find it quite slow. So I'm just going to weld this here. Where's the dummy? Go and find the dummy. There you go. Emily, can you find his dummy, please? Right, if I just do another one of that. Oh. You're going to be a tinker, aren't you? You're going to be a tinker. Ma's doing this one-handed here now, isn't she? Right, so it's again, I'm just going to show you how So you can kind of just come up here and come up to your letter spacing, which is here. And if you just adjust this down, it will just kind of adjust it for you. I find it doesn't always space the letters equally though, which I find quite frustrating with this one. But again, I would just weld it once I'm done. I'm just going to delete this bottom one here, just so I'm only working with one. So in order to kind of create that shadow layer in Design Space, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to duplicate it. You can either right click and duplicate, or you can come over to your layer panel over here and duplicate. And I'm just going to bring one down here, and I'm just going to change the color of it, just so you can see, over something a bit brighter so you can see it. What I'm going to come back up is I'm just going to duplicate the black one a few more times, and this is going to help us kind of create that shadow layer. Now there's two different ways to do this. I'm just going to duplicate it, so I've got a few copies to show you the two different ways of doing this. I'll drag it set over there, so I'm not coming back to duplicate it again. Right, I am just going to line and center these all up. I'm just going to come to a line in center. You can just do this kind of by eye if it's easier. I don't know how, just kind of depends on you. Right, so I've got them in layers here. I'm just change these to a different colour so I don't get confused when I start clicking on them.
Sorry, Sarah, can you do that? Tell me what you've done again. I was just duplicating at the time.
All I've done is I've just duplicated my layers, and then I've highlighted them all, and I've clicked align and center.
And where do you find that? Oh, a line at the top.
A line at the top, yes, and then center. And it'll just kind of stack all them together.
Oh, thank you.
Right, and then what you're going to do is you're going to kind of, you need to use your layer panels here on your right hand side. So what you need to do is kind of keep your top layer. It might be easier just to change the color of that, just so you can see where that is. And then you need to click the next one down from that, and then you're going to use your arrow keys here, and you need to kind of, to create the shadow layer, we're kind of going up, along and around kind of with each layer, with each kind of duplicate as we go around. So I'm going to start off by pressing the first one and pressing the up key, and you can see kind of starting to create that shadow around it. Then I'm going to move to my next one on my layer panel, and I'm going to move that one up one, and I'm going to move it right one.
Yeah.
If you need to slow down, just tell us to slow down. Then again, you're going to come to the next one down, and you're just going to press right with that one.
Bugger.
It can take some getting used to. It's just about playing around with it. I watched a lady this morning, she just visually done it all by herself, kind of just to play around with it. So you need
Sarah,
to go,
sorry, when I align mine centrally, it doesn't all stack as one, it goes on top of each other.
yes.
Has anyone else found that?
Yes.
But it's like it looks like this. I don't know if I've got it wrong.
Oh, where's my little leg?
Or maybe I've just done something wrong.
So I've done exactly the same as you, but mine's just come out all in red. It's because I put it to red. I haven't got any of the shadow colour behind it.
If you come and just change one of your top layers, just click on the top one and just change it to a different colour, just so you can see it kind of stacking up.
Right, okay, thank you.
It just makes it a bit easier to visually see what it's doing. So yes, you need to go up one, and then you need to go up one and right one. Then you need to go right two on your next layer, and then I'm going to come back. Where does it?
Where's my pen?
Can I just ask a question? Sorry,
Yeah.
please, Sarah. I was switching between the laptop and my phone at the time, so I've missed a step somewhere.
Right. Which step have you got?
Right. So I've welded my word's there. How many times are we copying it?
It's about 8 times, I would say. If you just
Right.
kind of duplicate it just a couple of times.
duplicate it that many times, and then what did you do? So I'm so sorry.
Right, that's okay. I've just highlighted them all,
Yeah.
and I've just come up to a line and centre.
Oh, centre. I missed that bit.
And then if you click on your top one and just change the colour of it to any colour, just so you can kind of visually see where that one is easier. And then, as I said, you're going to come over to your panel, and then you're going to kind of start stacking it by going up one. And then it's kind of a little box that you're kind of creating almost around it. So I'm going to go up one and right, then again down the next one, and I'm just going to go right with that one. Then where's that? Ooh, what's happened here? Oh, there's another one admitted. With I don't know why my screens went back to that one. Ah, silly thing. Sorry, ladies. Right, can you see me screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So then I lose you. So right, then I'm going to come down the next layer, and I'm going to come down, and I'm going to go left one, and then the next one I am just going to go left with, and you can see kind of the shadow being created behind it. And then what if you do, if you can move it out of the way, your top layer, and then you should just be able to weld that shadow. It's not perfect on this technique, simply because it's just going to be impossible to get it. Some texts will stack easier than others. 2 minutes, Emily. It's just going to depend on which font you pick at this point, in terms of for stacking it.
Sarah, sorry,
Yeah?
what would you recommend as a font to do this with in Design Space? Because I think the one you're using isn't in Design Space, is it?
This one is Hey Butterfly, which Sarah uses quite often in a couple of hers. I'm trying to thingy. So this one's Hey Butterfly, and if you go into font bundles,
Yeah.
I think that's .net, I think, if I remember rightly, then it is free to download this one. Font
Right.
bundles quite handy. They do normally put a couple of fonts up every couple of days, if not every day, and their free fonts come with commercial rights as well.
License as well, yeah.
Commercial
Yeah.
license. So yeah, I would rather I would opt to download from there, where you're going to get your commercial license, than the likes of the font and kind of squirrel font and that. So you know you've got the license
Right.
if you ever did decide to sell. But yes, this one's Hey Butterfly, but you don't have to work with that one. You can work with any. Another way to do it, so as I said, you've got that welded. I'm just going to bring that one back to the front there, so you can kind of create that shadow layer. It's not going to be overly kind of thick, but I mean, you could keep stacking. You can kind of go two up and kind of just keep duplicating it around. At this stage, you could actually duplicate that again.
Can you do those steps again, please? When you select on each layer, is that going to be a pain?
No, I can go over it again. That's not a problem at all. I'll just delete this one. Well, I'll throw it over there. Right, so I'm just going to duplicate. Oh, I've got that duplicate over there actually. 2 minutes. I'll slide my bar along this way. Right, so I've just stacked this one again like I did before. Thomas, leave the wires alone, you tinker. I love to play with wires. Get off them.
Is anyone having trouble with their keep losing connection?
Oh,
Space, what you're seeing. So I keep going in and out of losing.
What keeps happening? You just keep losing signal.
Well, I keep getting a black screen. I can hear you, but I can't got black screen.
Right.
No, mine's all right.
No, mine's all
No,
right.
mine's okay.
Mine's fine.
It's not coming up that I've lost connection. Not to say I haven't. But I'll keep going over it. This is recording though, and it can be uploaded to
Good.
I think it's sent automatically by email actually. But if it's not, then I can send it by email.
Lovely.
Anybody who wants it anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
But the inbox is always open if anybody is stuck, honestly. They can see you, Emily, you know there. Right, so I'm just going to come back again. I'll just repeat that. I'm just going to change one of my layers here, this top one, to just a different colour so we can see it. So again, I'm just going to click on the next one down in my layer panel, and I'm just going to click up one. As I said, you could kind of click to the next one and take that one up again to help create a thicker shadow. It's just up to you. The next one, you need to come up and right one. Then the next layer, you're kind of just going to take right. The layer after that, oh, see, I know there's a few. What's going on here? Can you still hear us, ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't know I'd lost you. The next one, instead, I'm going to go down and I'm going to take it right. The one after that, I'm just going to take straight down. Then again down, and I'm just going to take it down one and left one. And then I'm just going to take the next one left. And then, I mean, you can see it's kind of all higgledy-piggledy there. And then just highlight them all and just weld it.
Sorry, I'm got to be a pain, but how many wee layers was in that last one?
That one was doing the same. I think it works out about 8. Just duplicate it kind of. You're almost kind of creating a little square around it. If you picked a kind of a squarer font, so just a regular font, printed font, you'd be able to see it a bit easier for practicing with. I'm going to pop him in the living room with Dad, darling. You'll be able to see it a bit easier, kind of, and it would probably just be a case of playing around, depending on which font you pick, in terms to do that. The other alternative.
I don't think so.
Well, then fucking.
Sorry, that's my husband.
I thought it would be me.
No, it's my husband. He's going to get me another gin. I've just fallen over outside his bar.
Hold on.
Another way to do it would be to come over. Another way to kind of create that shadow without kind of much effort, would be to kind of come back to your fonts. And I know a couple of, if when you're on Design Space now, I don't have the subscription. I don't pay for the subscription and haven't for a while. So my fonts are going to come up to be paid by on the Cricut font. But if you want to find a Cricut font, and kind of when you're on Design Space and you've got your fonts open, on the left hand side you'll see it's kind of that first one there, for example, 3 birds sliced apart. It's got multi-layer cutting. So we were kind of to insert that font. It would then kind of, when you come over to it would insert as a single layer, but in your layer panel, you can see kind of I've got the grey one here, which is visible, but the black layers there, and that's hidden at the moment. If I was to unhide that, you would see you automatically get that shadow layer behind that font.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is another way of doing it in Design Space, to help create that shadow layer. So it might be that you've got a favourite font in Design Space. See, I have a couple of machines. I do have a KMO 3 and I do have a Curio. So because I've got 3 different machines that use 2 different softwares, I just kind of tend to buy my fonts, so I can use them across all the machines. But there's a couple of different ones in here that have that multi-layer. So especially if you've got the subscription, it might just be worthwhile going through them. Just looking for the multi-layers. I think
on the filter you can
you
can filter it multi-layer, can't you?
Yes. So that will bring up all the multi-layer ones for you. I think they all tend to be kind of printed rather than any script. Oh, there's a script one there in Billionaire. I would probably, you might have to duplicate each layer, though. That would kind of, the script font is going to be a little bit trickier in that one, because you would have to ungroup each layer and then kind of shuffle them together, but I don't know if that would let you do that. I'm just going to try it, see if it'll let us shuffle these 2 layers in one. I don't think it will if I ungroup it. When I put this little box keeps appearing over me layers panel. It's ungrouped both of them separately. And then I think if you then highlight both, no, it's going to highlight them all together. That's the only trouble with it. If you were to do it with a script font, you would have to kind of keep your kind of 2 layers roughly underneath each other, and kind of shuffle each layer individually. Unfortunately, it is just the downside of Design Space. I don't know why they can't just, catch up with some of the other software, but unfortunately it is what it is. Another way kind of to stack them without necessarily using your left and right arrow keys would just to be doing it kind of visually. So I'm just going to hide this one over here. So again, just duplicate it. If I just move one over here, it would just kind of, I'm just going to move them out of the way so you can see them a bit easier, would just be kind of doing it by eye, just kind of to create that shadow, maybe just go left and right kind of a couple of times. Again, you could stack them and use your arrow keys, and just kind of create that shadow. It's sometimes, even if you can even stack 2 on top of each other, kind of to create a bit of a thicker layer. If I just welded them, for example, and then I duplicated that one, you just kind of be able to kind of stack it, and kind of then you'd have to then go up and down. It is, as you can see, kind of, it's not straight smooth lines, which you would get in other software. So it is just unfortunately a case of just playing around. There is no easy fix with this. There was a way where you could send it to send it to print rather than cut, and then kind of use your snipping tool to kind of save it, but I don't think it now lets you do that bleed feature. I'm just going to try, and if I send it to Matt, the bleed feature seems to have disappeared. I don't know if anybody else has recently tried print and cut. It's not something I do often, but I've noticed, because that was another way of doing it, kind of creating that bleed, then kind of snipping that, and then uploading that back to Design Space. But for some reason the bleed feature has just disappeared. I don't know why. But I don't know if it's a glitch or whether it's permanently gone, or not. I can't even remember the last time I used the print and cut to remember when I've done that. But I will show you how to do it in Inkscape as well. I'm just going to open Inkscape here, and I'll just come back to Zoom. If I just return to the meeting, are you going to let me return to the meeting? What's it doing? Oh, the joys of technology, honestly.
You want to try teaching with it?
Oh, I think I would lose my temper more times than anything else, I think. We're using where what? Ours are using Teams rather than using Zoom.
No, Google we use, and it's absolutely a pain in the backside.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not very technical.
That's
anyway.
the thing. Yeah, it's not what you were set up to teach with, is it? So
no, it's not.
So I think it's really worth taking the time to learn Inkscape. There's lots of tutorials out there on YouTube. I'm happy to add a couple of links to certain ones in the group. There is also a Facebook group. There's 2 actually. There's one, Inkscape for crafters, and Inkscape for beginners, which they are really helpful in there as well. But when you see how much easier it is to do it in Inkscape, you will kind of switch for this one for any because you can just add multiple names into one go. So I'm just going to come down here. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just ask, the Inkscape? I've only got an iPad, I haven't got a laptop. Is there an app for it?
I don't think there is at the moment.
Okay.
I've seen somebody use an app called, I think, Pronto. I'm happy to share that to the group. The link that I had for it, to see how it's done on the iPad. I don't have an iPad, so I'm not familiar with the technology in it.
Yeah, I think it's called Fonto. Phonto. Yeah.
There's a way to do that. I mean, I can find the app.
Thanks.
Steal a hubby's iPad one day, and see if I can go through and kind of record that for you, because I think it's quite an easy way to do that as well. I think it's just creating that shadow and uploading it. But I will have a look into the iPad for you, ladies. The hubby has got one. I don't use it. I will have a look. But with Inkscape, there is a couple of buttons that, you know, can take a while to get used to. But to be honest, I just stick to the basic ones that I need to know for this. But this lets you kind of create like SVG files, like colouring pages as well, and kind of create shadow layers for PNGs as well. So if you've got something that, you know, maybe a picture of a princess, something that you want to kind of create an out shadow of you are making a cake topper, for example, then you can kind of use this to kind of trace that and create it as well. So I'm just going to kind of come down the left hand side to the little alphabet symbol here. I'm just going to come over. I'm just going for Harry. I don't know why, but I'm going for Harry. I'm just going to go back for that here butterfly. So I'm just going to come up to the top here to pick a font. I'm just going for the font that I need, because otherwise I'm here all day picking fonts. I don't know about anybody else. But I have way too many fonts, and I just spend hours trying to.
Wow.
I know. I've got a little book. I write my favourites down, like my favourite script and that type of thing. So, because I can waste 2 hours looking for a font.
I think I need to do that.
Yeah.
I can waste days looking for a font. And then I'll go, I haven't got any I like, so I'm going to go and have a look for some.
Go and have a look and buy some more.
My credit card's gone, I think, now.
Oh, I think I just need a mine and delete PayPal, I think is what I need to do.
Oh, well, I've got my PayPal's linked to my bill account, so I've just put money across there and you don't know then.
Mine said I had £14,000 in it the day. It must have been a glitch, because I definitely didn't have that in it.
I'd have been buy.
Been on a spending spree had it been for that. My downfall is font bundles have a subscription you can pay, and you get tokens rather than kind of certain fonts to then go and spend kind of in the store, and that's my downfall. That is my downfall. So I've got millions of fonts in my download folder on there that I haven't yet downloaded. So I'm just going to come. There's a little lock button up here, because if I was to drag this, I can drag it any which way. So to keep it in scale, there's a little lock kind of at the top where you've got the W and the H. There's a little lock kind of there. I'm just going to lock it.
Oh.
It's
W and
the
a
very,
H.
very top, kind of up
Very
here.
top.
What font was that one then, Sarah?
This one again is Hey Butterfly, because if I honestly be here all day picking a font.
One of your favourites, obviously.
It's one Sarah uses a lot in a lot of our files. I know it's in the mums in button one, so if you want to switch mums out for mams or gran, then you know that's the font you need to change.
What's it called?
Hey Butterfly. And if you go on to font bundles, it is free with commercial license. But I didn't send you the font bundles to spend money, right? I was getting the blame earlier if I persuade somebody to buy glitter vinyl. Not me.
I must have downloaded the wrong Inkscape, because I haven't got that second bar down. I've got file, and then I've got my line where I just chose Comic Sans, but I haven't got what you've got.
What are we looking for?
You need to click the little arrow at the top instead of the text button, and then that line will appear.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you.
I think mine's an older version. I do apologise. I should probably update it. Right. Once you've got it in here, as you can see, though, this is just automatically connected as a script font. I haven't had to change it. I haven't had to mess around with spacing. It just does it automatically, which is why, especially for large volumes of text, or if I'm cutting a lot of the same things, this is just easier. You know, you can just stack your names. I often stack 5 or 6 orders onto one thing and just upload them to Design Space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up and I'm going to hit text. So on the top bar, have you got kind of file edit view along the top bar there?
Yeah.
Right. So you need path, not text. Text will let you curve your text around in fancy shapes, but we'll do that another day. I can show you how to curve your text in this at a later date if anybody wanted to do that. And then you need to hit object to path. And then you kind of need to come back up to object, which is next to path, and you need to ungroup it. There's no particular reason to ungroup it other than Design Space and both Inkscape have a hissy fit if you don't do this stage. I don't know why. I used to be able to bypass it, but lately it's not letting us. So it's just easier just to ungroup at this stage, and it saves you the frustration when you upload Design Space and there's nothing there. So then I'm going to come back to path and I'm going to hit union. Now you can just hit that with control and the plus sign if you want. And you can see kind of on the bottom, I can't get my bottom layer because I keep disappearing. No, it's not going to let us, the Zoom meeting things at the bottom. At the bottom layer panel, here you can kind of see path, and it's got 242 nodes in one layer. That lets you know that it's kind of become an SVG file. If you click on this little nodes here at the left hand side, yes, under the little black arrow key, you can see kind of all the little nodes pop around it. That you could just upload to Design Space and it'll just cut it for you as an SVG file. So if you're cutting something with a lot of text, it's worth just kind of coming in here and just spending a couple of days just learning it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to edit, and I'm just going to come down to preferences because I'm just going to change my for outsetting and kind of change the thickness. If I was to outset this here, and I'm just going to do that with path and outset. You can use the control and closing bracket to do this, which is what I normally do. You can see kind of it goes quite puffy. I don't know if you're seeing us do that. I'll just undo that. And I'm just going to hit, I'll do it the way I'm teaching you. So path and then down to outset. And you can see that changes thickness. If you want to change how much you're increasing that thickness by, then you need to come to edit. Down at the very bottom to preferences. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. And then in this left column here, you need to come down to behavior and hit the little plus sign next to it. And then that'll open up a couple of more options. And you need to come down to steps. And then you can see I've got kind of arrow key move by, greater and less than scale that, and then inset and outset by. And this will let you kind of change your thickness. I always change mine to 0.04. It just lets us increase it gradually as I want it. So if I was to kind of just quickly do Harry again, I'll just quickly change it to here, butterfly again, just so you can see this one's a bit more gradual when I come to some of these steps I just do kind of on autopilot. So you can see kind of as you can kind of see it's a bit more of an increase.
Yeah.
I'll hit my control button a few more times there. To think what I should have done really is duplicate this one before I send it over before. What I would do if you're going to offset it is duplicate that layer. So I'll do it again just so you know how to do it. If you just want to do it again with this, so you've got that top layer for your shadow layer. So I would convert it to a SVG file, then duplicate, then offset your bottom layer. Have I done that? No, I've just thinking it. So as I said, to convert it to text to path for SVG, path to object to path, object ungroup, and then path and union. And I'm just going to right click and duplicate it. You can press Ctrl and D here if that's easier for you. And then I'm just going to come back up and I'm just going to control and I'm just going to use the control, the close bracket. But again, as I said, you could just come up to path and why didn't you outset? Oh, it has, but I've got it on. I changed the outset, didn't I? So that's why I was just taking it a bit slower. So there you go. And if I was to just change this top Harry and put it over there, you can see I've got that shadow layer. Again, it might just be a case of kind of playing around until you're kind of happy with the thickness of it. Just depends how much of a shadow you want. If you wanted to then get rid of, just trying to get me little arrow keys, these pop-up boxes in my way, is as you can see, kind of you've got the white bit here of this, the A and the Y. If you wanted to get rid of them, you could leave them as they are, but if you wanted to get rid of them, if you click on your shadow layer and you come up to path and you come up to break apart, and you can see kind of the little box popped around them two bits, as you can see there. And then if you just come back up to path and union, they'll just disappear, and they'll just kind of become, kind of one solid layer. It's handy if you're doing the likes of cake toppers and that. You can kind of create duplicate layers without touching that. If I kind of click on the back one, and then this to kind of create a couple of layers if you wanted to. If you just come up to linked offset, you can't see it there unless I come down and change the color of it. But there is another layer underneath here. And if I was to just offset it, oh, where's it gone? Done the wrong one. Should be a blue layer. There you go. It just kind of saves, you could duplicate it, but it's quite good for stacking if you want a couple of different ones. And then obviously once you've got it just like that, I'm just going to delete my blue one because I don't need that lighter blue one for the file. And then I'm just going to, then you just need to save it. Remember where you're going to save it. I never remember where mine's saved. Half of them save in a download, half of them save elsewhere. So I'm just going to save as. And this is just kind of like uploading any project or any file, the kind of Inkscape here. I'm just going to save it as Harry. Where am I in my documents? As you can see, you've got the option here for different, it'll save it in different formats. I either normally go for Inkscape SVG or plain SVG. Either will do. It doesn't really matter.
So Sarah, you do both layers in Inkscape instead of the shadow layer in Inkscape and the other layer in Design Space?
I would just do them both in Inkscape because
okay.
Go back to Design Space, you're then going to have to kind of faff around with your spacing.
Okay.
And with time and effort, this will literally take you seconds to do, especially compared to what it'll take you in Design Space to do. It'll kind of just be quick and easy. And the more you kind of get into the swing of it, the quicker you get at it. I can normally have one done and uploaded within less than 3 minutes normally, if I know what font I want.
Okay, thanks.
Right, I'm just going to come back out of this one and let us go back to Design Space, will it? Where's Design Space? Oh, there we are. And then I'm just going to come to upload. I'm just going to upload it here. When it moves, it's on go slow. This is the only thing with Design Space, it's really slow. I just need to remember, as I said, where I've saved it. That is not where I saved it. Where did I save it?
Documents.
Honestly, I could never remember where it saves in the same place. Oh, I normally just go with downloads, much easier for me. Oh, what are you doing, computer? Just go to there. I don't want to save you as a bauble. Oh, honestly. I wonder why I can never find my files when I need them, but I can never find them. I don't know if anybody else has that problem.
I do in my teaching files.
You'd think it would teach would be better organised, wouldn't you?
I am. I teach maths, so I have my number file and I have it all like labelled. But then I think, oh God, where did I put it?
I just never remember what I saved it as. I have random names I like to save them as, so you know. So yes, as you can see, I know it looks stacked there, but if I was to just upload it in Design Space, I'm going to take the Barry one with us. I don't think I've downloaded the other layer that Sarah sent. So as you can see, if I'm just going to move that over there. If you just come up to ungroup, you can see you've got two separate layers. If you want to change your size and just kind of keep them together and just size them that way. I've only got Sarah sent these over for me to test, didn't send my bottom layer hasn't got the weight to show you how to do it. So I'm just going to quickly slice these just to kind of. She did send the other one, but I don't know. It'll be in me email somewhere, and honestly, that's just too much hassle right now to go and find it. I'm just going to pull this down here. I'm just going to quickly slice the Barry out for quickness. I'm cheating here. I'm just going to slice. Right, I'm just going to delete that.
Oh, you go back.
Right, has everybody kind of caught up and?
Sort of, yeah. I think I would have to lay it back and do it in my own time, I think.
Oh, that's okay. Does anybody actually want to cut it, or is anybody just?
No. I'll have to go over it again.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay. Honestly, my inbox is always open if anybody is stuck. Why are you?
It's really difficult to do on the iPads. It's really difficult to get that movement and the.
Is it? Is
you
it
know,
not
when you're pressing your arrow keys, it's difficult with your finger or your iPencil to get it right.
Oh, it's a bit of a pain. What I will do is I'll find. I was watching a tutorial on it earlier. I'll upload that to the group for you, Jo. So
okay, brilliant.
Watch it. I know what's done by an app. TikTok's great for learning hints and tips.
Yeah.
I found out lots on there.
I know.
I've just looked on the butterfly, and I put in hey butterflies, but it's not come up.
Oh, it's not 2 minutes. I will go into my internet. And I'm just gonna share my screen. I have to keep coming down here and switching between my screens. There we go. Was it on? I'm sure I was on this one. I found it.
It is. I found it about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Was it free on there recently?
Yeah, no, it's still on as free.
I got it from the font.
Oh,
I say I'm on fontbundles.net. Yes.
Yes. And then in the search bar, I'll go back to the beginning here. If you just type in hey butterfly, and then it should bring up two. One's a
Ah,
pencil
well,
one.
do you know what? It would help if I spelt. See, that's why I'm a maths teacher, and not. I feel really embarrassed now.
Oh, don't worry. I keep thinking about going into teaching, and then I keep talking myself out of it. I think me and lockdowns had a completely different opinion on how much of a teacher, good of a teacher I'll be.
Oh, it's definitely different in a classroom, I can assure you.
So yeah, it's free to download on there. If I just come back to Design Space.
Thank you. Sorry.
In Design Space, I have a hoo-ha anyway. It doesn't want. So I send you to the front. The trouble is with the Design Space is it only lets you do certain things. I don't want Harry in there. So then once you kind of had it in position, if you move kind of the little details off, so you just got the shadow layer behind it, then just weld, and that would just cut that as one for you, and then you would just kind of just be able to layer on
the colours
to the front, and then you can kind of see
brilliant.
it honestly to what Design Space would let us do. I don't know if I've got on my screen here actually my Design Space one. I can quickly kind of the Design Space, as I said, the Design Space in Design Space is not going to be as neat as what Inkscape would let you, because kind of Inkscape's kind of increasing it all kind of at the same time, where obviously Design Space is going to rely on you. But as I said, I have seen a lot of users of Design Space go and start using the Silhouette software and pay for the business edition. There's a couple of ways to kind of get the business edition, because with Silhouette it kind of stacks up in different. I think there's 3 different versions of Silhouette Studio, and sometimes it's not always cheap to kind of jump from one layer to the kind of business edition. There's a designer edition first, then a business one, and sometimes it's cheaper to kind of stack them up and kind of go through each one as a separate transaction, rather than jumping straight in if anybody wanted to kind of learn Silhouette. But is there anything anybody wants us to go over?
I would just like you to design everything I have in my head, and then just I'll print it off.
I know I was showing Sarah one of my first designs in Design Space, and I actually created the whole thing in Design Space. I don't know how I did it. I'll have to upload the photo to the group. But it was a light up box with elephants, but I done the whole thing as, you know, slice and weld, but I done it. I think I might have the original file on there actually to share. But yeah, it is hard, and it is I mean, 6 years, nearly 7 years into having my machines. I'm on machine number 4.
So Sarah, if you wanted to add another a smaller image to that picture, do you just do the pictures the same way as well by offsetting? If you wanted to add like a little stool there.
Yes, you could. Yes, it's sometimes a bit easier, kind of. For example, for that one, if let me grab that box. For example, for this, I mean, the fish shape and that, some of your shapes are a bit easier to kind of duplicate and create the shadow layer again in Design Space. If I was to just kind of weld that one, it's kind of, I mean, it's much easier to kind of create.
Oh, just do it that way, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
It's kind of, in Inkscape, it's a bit harder, and it's not something I do all the time, but I'm happy to kind of go back, teach myself how to do it properly, and then come back and let you know, because it's one of those ones that I don't use often, so I often have to refresh myself to remember how to do it myself, but I don't mind showing you how to do that if anybody wants to kind of learn how to convert a PNG and create that shadow layer. Just honestly, if there's anything you just need to know, we can just get kind of a thread going on the group, and you can just shout up on there. I do run I do admin the Crafty Cutter Cricut support group page, so you can get us on there as well, if for more specific Cricut questions. But honestly, my inbox is always open, And if you're stuck with anything, just shout, honestly.
I would love to have this done.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go on.
Would you be able to do like another sort of Inkscape one where like to create something?
Yes. What would you like to create?
I don't know.
I was just going to say exactly the same. I'd love to have a weekly tutorial.
And how to. I mean, Inkscape is really good for cake toppers because it lets you stack them quite easily and duplicate. I do all my cake topper designs in Inkscape. But no, if there's anything particular, I mean, I'm happy to come up with some tutorials for it. I am going to start doing some tutorials for Crafty Cutter. So if you're not already in the Crafty Cutter support group, it might
I'm in that one.
I know
on Facebook.
Yes, it's on Facebook. It's Crafty Cutter.
I'm joining now.
Crafty Cutter support. Cricut support group it is. I'm trying to find where I stuck these decorations. Oh, I don't know where I put them now. I did have some. I'm terrible for stuffing things where that kind of is easy. The one I'm going to be doing, and I'll probably be doing next week, is my little boy drew a picture, and I converted that to an SVG file in Inkscape, and then uploaded it in Design Space to create a little decoration at Christmas for his gran. He had drew a picture of him, gran, and the dog on.
Oh, I've seen that one. That's cute.
So I'm going to be doing a tutorial on that probably next weekend in the Crafty Cutter group. If anybody wants to join, it'll just kind of be me doing a live video and a chat. I could set it up as a Zoom meeting if anybody kind of wanted to go through it in a bit more detail. But it's just kind of handy tips to know and just kind of how to convert them to an SVG file so you can kind of then do what you want with them. I did have some more. He did do another 2 for us, but I can't find them. I did have them earlier, and I've put them somewhere, and I don't know where I've put them to show you them. But yeah, I am going to start doing a lot more tutorials for Crafty Cutter on just tips in Design Space, but also using Inkscape. I'll probably do a cake topper after I've done the little SVG file, because I know cake toppers are something that everybody asks for.
Sarah, where do you get your images from? Do you just use your images that are in Design Space, or do you draw them?
I tend to buy a lot of files on Etsy.
Right.
But a lot of my stuff, I tend to just do typography kind of stuff. So I tend to do a lot of text. I'm trying to see what I've got. I don't know if you can see. Have I popped up on the screen as the I know I'm on my phone, you see, as well, but I don't know. I just tend to do a lot of text stuff rather than fancy stuff. I don't know if you can see that behind that.
Right.
That's one I kind of, what I tend to do is I sometimes use elements from different things.
All right.
To create mine. That was the Santa Please Stop at Warhouse with Bina Geordie. That was an LED light stand. So it just depends. I sometimes just buy outlines and stuff, are kind of SVG files that I can use for commercial rights to kind of stack up my designs, but I do tend to just use a lot of just text. I invested in Desire Pro font last year, and that's quite a nice font to kind of learn and master. It's not easy doing Design Space. I use Inkscape, and I use what's the other one I use? There's another one I use I use Nexus font when I'm using that the fonts with the swirls and the whooshes on. I use Nexus font alongside Inkscape to get all them swirls on. I think I'll have the file actually saved on here somewhere. So yeah, but if there's any specific ones in particular you want help with, I'm happy just to run a couple of tutorials on. I'm trying to move the box out of the way. There's a pop-it up on. I mean, this one here, for example, that one's from Font Bundles. It was only $1, so it works out about 70 pence. That's the Liad one. I am going to put it on a disc when I get 2 minutes. I mean, these are Sarah's files, a lot of these.
I like that wee heart.
Oh, that was, I think that's just come from Google, if I remember rightly. Or it might even be, I've got a couple of fonts that kind of are more pictures rather than actual letters. I'm trying to find, this is one I done recently, myself. Will it open up onto that screen? If I just delete this out of the way. The thing with Inkscape is it likes to, oh, did I delete it? I might have deleted it when I was uploading this one. It's the only thing with how slow it goes.
I'm trying to get an outline of a heart. The hearts are very tricky to do, aren't they?
Oh, the hearts, oh yes. I don't particularly like the shape of the heart in Design Space either.
No, I always get my heart out the images. I don't like the shape in the heart on design. No.
I don't, I'm just gonna, I'll just quickly, this one here. This is the other thing with Inkscape. When you upload an SVG file, it uploads it at a ridiculous size. I don't like Design Space for this reason. It just either uploads it huge or it goes tiny, and then I can never do what I want.
Yeah.
If I just change the background on this one, this is one that I did design myself.
Did you do that with Inkscape?
Yes, I did. All I done is I stacked a series of circles on top of each other and just kind of offset them, and then I welded them all together. Added the little stars, and the butterflies were just off Etsy, and they weren't even Liad butterflies. I think they were just kind of just an SVG pack of butterflies that I just kind of welded and manipulated on. I can't zoom in either because we're there over there. When I keep the little.
I got something similar. You know, your circles where you said you've done that yourself. I think it was design bundles, maybe. I think they were supposed to be like a cake topper type of thing, but it was blank. So I've done one with like hearts around and bigger stars as well.
Yes.
But it had a couple of swirls, you know, like what you've got there. Yeah.
As I said, I just stacked these in Inkscape and just kind of. Font bundles is really good because they do like craft packs. And honestly, ridiculous. But for what the files you get in them are really cheap. So it is worth keeping. They also have kind of deal every couple of weeks as well, where they'll it'll be a variation of fonts and files for $1 each. They do have a limited number. So when it says you need to be on at 5 o'clock, you need to be on at 5 o'clock. So yes, as you can see, this kind of the swirl on the grandchildren. That's what I use Nexus font for to kind of change the text. This is the Desire Pro font. I think it's.
Is Nexus font different than Character Map then?
I don't like Character Map. I find Character Map too small. It's exactly the same and does exactly the same stuff, but I find I can see it better in Nexus font than what I can in Character Map. I find Character Map really small and my eyes aren't as good as what they used to be. So with Nexus font, I can see a bit more better of what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm happy to do tutorials on stuff like this if anybody would like any help and support.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Intimidated, but
definitely my grandchildren definitely not butterflies, and they're definitely unique.
I try to fit 13 names on for my mum, and I don't think I can get a blank big enough. That's it. I'm not even going to try for me nana. I think combined she's got in excess of I think it must be about 90 between grandchildren, great grandchildren, and great great grandchildren.
Wow!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
It's just
I struggle with 2.
My children are something. I think Thomas is the youngest great grandchild, and he's something like 55 or something. in the great grandchildren, and they're still adding. There's another one due this month. So they're still being added to as well. So there's quite a few of them.
Wow.
But yes, I mean, I'm happy to put a post up, and then kind of, if there's anything specific that you want help with, then I can kind of do tutorials. I can do these on a weekly basis, or fortnightly, whichever anybody wants help with, and kind of try and maybe switch up the times in the days to make it better for people. I know it can be hard, kind of juggling work, children, whatever you're juggling with, just try and get on at the same time. So I'm happy to mix it up a bit to make it a bit easier for people if that's better for you.
Have you ever used much of the, I'm having a terrible time with it, it cost a fortune, the premium glitter from Crafty Cutter?
The glitter one, is it
the really, really thick one?
Crystalline.
The crystalline one. It's kind of a bit...
No, not the crystalline, the other one, the premium one.
I have got a little bit here. This one, it'll be this. Is it there's one that's got blank. They've both got blanks on the back. That's the trouble. Are you having trouble cutting it? Yes. What?
Not so much cutting it, more weeding it, because what I have to do is so intricate, and the font of it is that general, or what we call it, writing font.
Right.
And to get that, and then it's only to fit in like a 5 centimeter rectangle.
So you're pushing the limits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have literally used a roll of masking tape, about 3 sheets of the stuff.
I was going to say, have you tried reverse weeding it?
Yeah.
The problem is it might not be cut deep enough for it to weed easily. I know myself, if I haven't cut it quite, it'll look okay on when it's being cut, but when I come to weeding it, it doesn't pull away easy. So what I sometimes do is I send it through twice to cut.
I've been doing that on the, the more.
Yes, there is
pressure.
With the premium, there's 2 different types of glitter within the premium glitter, depending on the colour that you're getting. There is the thicker one, and then there's another one which you're probably a bit more restricted on your colours. This is it. I know there's red, black, there's a gold, but this is quite a thin glitter compared to the other ones.
No, I would have been happy to use the other one, but it's actually for my future sister-in-law, and that's the colour she wants.
No, so she's being awkward.
So I had no option but to use that one.
Tell her she has to change.
I know.
I would say it's trial and error, but obviously I know it's quite expensive to keep trialing it. So I'll maybe try. I know Silhouette Studio, what that does is when you do it, there's an option for a test cut, and that puts a square and it puts a little triangle inside of the square. So it might just be worth kind of on a scrap corner bit of one that you've already wasted.
I know.
Just trying to kind of duplicate that a few times, just trying to find a setting that works. If you want to pop 2 minutes on, if you want to pop in the group, there might be somebody who's used it and who can tell you. Are you using a maker or an air?
Maker,
right. I'll have a play around. I'll message Charlotte and see if she can offer which settings are best. But I know she's a bit poorly at the minute, so I might be able to get Sam's on the group as well. She works for Crafty Cutter, so Sam might have used it because she often cuts projects on a Friday.
Yeah, live, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I had trouble with the crystalline when I first got that, and I think I watched one of her lives, and she recommended premium outdoor vinyl.
That's what this stuff's like.
Yeah, and it cut really well, and I use it at Christmas to do a Christmas tree, and it had little tiny swirls and leaves, and that crystalline's quite jelly, like squishy, isn't it, when you read it, and it come off perfect. It was really good.
I think it's just how much is in this 5 by 3 centimeter rectangle.
Maybe try and change your font. Try a different font.
I know, she's a bloody pain.
I was going to say another trick, child harassing us, is to put it in the freezer. Put the sheet of vinyl in the freezer. 2 minutes, Emily. Right, 2 minutes. I would put the sheet of vinyl in the freezer for about 10 minutes. It works particularly well in the warmer weather when it starts getting a bit stickier. So maybe it's just a bit too sticky. So pop it in the freezer for about 10 minutes before you cut it. Even just try a scrap. That helps, but it could just be, as I said, that you're just trying to kind of put too much.
I know.
You might have to change your design.
Oh, good luck telling her she's a princess.
Oh dear. Good luck.
But yeah, I'll start a chat in the group, and then if there's anything anybody needs help with regards to this, or for any future tutorials, then we can get some dates and that set up.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
no, perfect.
Harassed by the child.
Oh.
Just charging us £100 for every minute I'm over.
Oh, thanks very much, Sarah.
That's really good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
Thanks.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Shut this down.
Gone button. Leave. There you go. Leave.
How do I shut this down? Wait.